under me booze and zest. If it's road boat cruise off it, we have no time for snooze and rest. Cause it's fat, I come out to fat with my 2 hands up in the air. This is the face of a man who don't give to top. So when you see me jumping up everywhere, with a bottle in my hand, you know what's up. Here what? Don't jump me, don't jump me, don't jump me, don't jump me. When you see me out in the corner, doing it loud, doing it loud. Don't jump me, don't jump me, don't jump me, don't jump me. When you see me out in the flat, doing it wet, I don't want to stress. When the vibration good, and the music good, then we keep it good. So now we keep it good now. When the girls whining good, and the grinding good, then we keep it good. So now we keep it good now.
WEFM, the Morning Fresh Sound.
What's up? Or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And we are back with you for another segment. It's going to be a short one, I believe. And yes, so in studio it's Rajiv.
Hi. Morning.
So if you mute it and go right in, right. As you're switching to like you know exactly how you're positioned. All right, so let's go. All right, so I'm joined this morning by Rajiv, and we are going to continue our conversation for today. So we are going to be talking on the topic of the resurrection of the middle class. Oh, I should have pulled that up. Anyway, the resurrection of the middle class, top government priority. What is the quality of life for Vincies, right? So Major Leacock, so I'm reading this from St. Vincent Times. So Major Leacock, those words came from him. And he said that so resurrection of the middle class as a primary responsibility and fundamental objective of the current administration. The goal is tied to a broader vision of social and economic transformation aimed at lifting the population to a higher and more solid platform. Leacock compared the current goal of creating a new middle class to past successes in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Specifically, he referenced the acquisition of lands in South Central Windward that created a new economic class of landowners as well as educational investments that established an education class allowing citizens to move upward socially. It was also noted, all right, so what in essence we are talking about is what do we, so Rajiv and our opinions as what do we view as the quality of life currently of Vincentians? And with this statement made by Major Leacock, is it more of a case of the government, as in this new administration, putting things in place to improve that quality of life, or to some extent, has that already been done under the old administration? And maybe what is lacking is that push by citizens themselves, maybe to capitalize on certain things, or even push in that that self-push in order to get ahead.
Yeah. Did he mention any specific current initiative that is going to be put forward to revive the middle class?
That was what was missing. That's what I didn't see. So yeah.
Because it's easy to say, well, things are bad and things need to get better, and people have saying that the middle class has been basically non-existent for quite a long time, not just in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but globally. But now you in his position, him bringing it up now, people quite naturally would want to know what the...
Okay, let's... All right. John, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, John.
Good morning, my sister. How you doing? How you doing?
We good, and you?
I am very sure about one thing, sister. Your voice alone make me happy.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know that, John.
Yeah, but I don't say no listen that I need a companion.
All right, John, there's a lot of feedback coming from you, so we're going to have to end the call, all right?
All right, man. Have a good day, John.
All right then.
All right. So yes, you were making a point, Rajiv?
Yeah. When stuff like that comes from people in certain positions, people quite naturally want to hear, okay, well, this is the issue. How are you going to tackle it? You know.
But so you're thinking that there has been an erosion of the middle class. So what exists now?
I think, and I have heard this from when they were in the opposition. A lot of people, while on the surface they might look like things are okay, a lot of them are still living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe not in the case where they have absolute zero coming down to the end of the month. But there's not a lot of that disposable income. A lot of people have like, hey, this is my the savings and the what's the word fair with the rainy weather fund that is there just in case I can't go and splurge at a restaurant or a party on it, but it's there to get me to the end of the month.
It's interesting that you say that, because I'm wondering now if things have just shifted in a way, right? So under the previous administration, there were things like education revolution. I mean, not everybody likes that term, but there was the education revolution where there were persons from economically disadvantaged situations. Because for me, I had to apply for economically disadvantaged student loan, right? So there's provisions like the economically disadvantaged student loan. A lot of scholarships came into being, right? So for persons who, let's say, found themselves in lower middle class, right? They were able to advance themselves educationally through avenues or opportunities such as these, right? There were things such as programs such as the 100% mortgage financing, which was also under the old administration. So for those who wanted to be able to own a home but may not have had capital to put forward, you were able to capitalize on those type of opportunities, right? There are things maybe like Prime, although I probably shouldn't look at things like Prime, but one of them might have been Prime or other opportunities for persons that's to start a business or to engage in a business. There were certain opportunities that were out there. So is it a case where it just looks a little different now in that we have persons who are educated or more educated than their parents, who now may own property or who have businesses of their own, but their struggles are not the same as the struggles our parents face. It's just that it now has a change in face in terms of what our struggles are. Even though we have, especially in the eyes of our parents and our grandparents, we have a lot more going for us now than they ever did.
Yeah, that's true. We have a comment here on the Facebook. I think this is a popular sentiment among a lot of modern people is we have the rich, the poor, no in between. Credit unions and banks take 75% of people's salary.
But then some would say that to be in a position to get a loan might also be an advantage, because it means that you are able to qualify for those loans. So even though, yes, you might still be living paycheck to paycheck, but the point is that you are still earning more than your parents or grandparents ever did. So I think that what it is that is happening is that the struggles just have a change look now within our generation.
There's a new bottom rung on the ladder.
You see, that is the thing, right? So many persons might be living in homes, right? They might own these homes. Well, no, the banks own the homes or the credit unions own these homes, right? But they are still living paycheck to paycheck, as opposed to the generation that we grew up with and our parents who did not own anything at all.
Because that's the thing about it.
And the fridge was full. Our fridge might be empty, but their fridge was full.
Because the older generation can't really look at it as them having it better now, because the loan is now a necessity. A lot of people back in the day say they built their house off the money that they made off of whatever trade they were involved in.
Or did it bit by bit?
Yeah, bit by bit. But now it's like, if you go bit by bit based on how things are now, especially material costs and so on, you can't bank on materials being the price they are today tomorrow. So it's in a lot of cases it's safe to take the loan from the bank
Yeah.
get everything in and get the process going right now, because who's to say what's going to happen tomorrow?
I think one of the things that I sometimes, and this is why I'm curious as to how the NDP is probably going to achieve this, right? Is that I think for me, and of course, this is just my opinion, but I think there are a lot of persons who don't push themselves, right? I do believe that there are a lot of opportunities out there, but many persons prefer to sit down and wallow in self-pity, right? Instead of trying to capitalize on certain opportunities.
Is that in terms of the person is already employed and they're not pushing themselves to do more to gain what they want, or is it that they're unemployed and they're just sticking in the...
Actually, both.
Because then, okay.
Kojo, morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Sorry, I should sound a little happy. Morning, Kojo.
Grand rising.
So life is getting to the same life as the universe, Where back in the day when you build a house, you could have every Sunday weekend you cook some food and do this, and people come and run blocks for you without money, without getting paid. Because they drink and rum, the food. Nobody, you have to pay now for that. You ain't getting that for free anymore.
That's a good point, There's a lack of community these days, not as there was back then.
You have to go to the bank so you can get this house done fast. Plus, people right now don't want to stay in mommy house for long anymore.
Listen, anymore, the house is cheaper, but anyway, continue, Kojo.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's cheaper, but your privacy is not that cheap.
Yes.
Your personal happiness is not that cheap.
Sure.
It might be monetary, it might be okay for staying in mommy house, but I mean, you are date until you can entertain, you know what I mean? He can entertain you can entertain him, So, that life is different. So come to, as I said, we have now coming into the people, when you talk about all the other, in between thing, it's the same thing happening out here, because you could work for $2 and you could live like a king, because you could go and get a TV, you could go get a bed, you will pay out your wherever you are pay out of. You probably don't have the money to buy food at the end of the month, but you look good. You got big TV, you got big fridge, you got big this, and as only should say the fridge empty. Back in the time, mommy and daddy used to consider the food more important than the bling blings and them, So I mean, it's very world right now. People prefer to, like we say, look good than to be really good. Because back in them time, them still taking a 2 cents in the bank, penny bank. That's how penny bank survived. All them poor people could have still put up 25 cents, $30 is that out of their money. So it's the very world. Everybody want to look good. It's costly.
Okay.
It's very costly to look good.
Yeah. All right, we got your Kojo. Thanks. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but jumping back to your point about they're not being driven enough, there's a popular sentiment where people are saying, well, I shouldn't have to feel like I'm killing myself to live comfortably. And it comes back around to the mental health thing where they say, my mental health is worth more than any sort of money that I can make, any sort of asset I can gain through that work.
I actually do agree with that. I don't believe in killing yourself to mind yourself, but I do believe that I think what it is for me is that some persons, I don't expect you to do it forever, right? But I do expect maybe you're saying, all right, for the next 5 years, I am going to be focused on achieving this particular goal or to get to this particular thing, right? And once I get it, then I'd find ways to start to fall back. As long as I be able to find a way to keep it, I can start to fall back, right? But I think that too many persons think that, okay, so this goal that I want to achieve, I want to attain is going to take too long, right? And because it's going to take too long, it's going to take forever, it's unattainable or unreachable, that they're not even going to make the effort to try to start.
Yeah,
right.
There's at least one roadblock in front of it. They start to think, is it even worth it?
Or it's insurmountable because it's like let's look at the whole issue of home ownership, right? Many persons might look at it as being insurmountable because of the fact that I cannot get to that level, right? It's not possible. I go to the banks, everybody's telling me that I'm not able to qualify for this loan. But then sometimes I have to ask persons, and what are you actually doing to try to get to that
And what
position?
are you willing to sacrifice?
What are you willing to sacrifice, you know?
Because there are people living with certain things that are luxuries that they deem as necessities.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really take a proper stance and look back at what you're consuming, spending on, and you realize some of the things that you see as unsurmountable could actually be very achievable if you cut back on certain things. But people say, I shouldn't have to live like this just to have.
But then how do you achieve anything?
And this is the
At
conversation.
some point, you have to make a sacrifice.
And there are a lot of people that got a lot of licks out time back for saying stuff just like this. And they say, oh, I don't want to bring it back to politics. So it started
with politics.
Yeah, it started with politics. But I remember under the previous administration, there were people who had said this, but because they were deemed to be supporters of the then government, they said, "Oh, it is justifying and making excuses for the government." But things are more than just black and white. There's a lot of gray area, and we don't exist in a bubble. What issues happen overseas, we are also affected by it, like it or not. And
No, I just want to respond to somebody on the live. They said, to the struggle in Israel, people are struggling. It's hard, and now things are more expensive. And I don't disagree with that, right? And of course, I'm not trying to paint the picture of the quality of life in Vincies for everybody is fine, right? I'm also not trying to paint the picture that some of the initiatives or policies that were put in place under the previous administration should have made the lives of every single person better, because everybody's situation is different, right? Everybody's challenges would also be different. My starting point and Raji's starting point, two different starting points, but sometimes I do think that persons are not trying enough. And this is why when it is that I hear a government stating that they are going to do this or that, and persons bring politics into play where they say, okay, so I'm a ULP supporter. Listen, folks, careful. This is in the context of what I'm saying here, right?
Hypothetically.
So the person might say, so I'm a ULP supporter, but because the NDP has come out with this policy, I'm not going to take advantage of it, right? And you heard some persons say that, the NDP might come out with something and say that they're putting this program or initiative in place, and persons are saying, because I'm a known ULP supporter, I am not going to apply for it because they're not going to take my application or whatever it is into consideration. So I think that there are times when persons shoot themselves in their own foot.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side, there are some people who don't want to succeed on a program because they don't want the program to succeed and make the
administration look good. Listen, I've always said it doesn't matter who is in power and which party you support. Once there are things put in place to make your life better, you capitalize
I remember,
on them. You don't have to sell your soul, but capitalize
I remember
on
there
them.
was some back and forth on social media when some people were saying, well, if you don't want the bonus, carry it back by the treasury. Because apparently there were, I didn't personally see, but apparently people were saying, there are people saying, I don't want the bonus, I don't want Friday bonus. But strange things like that happen.
I don't know. But I mean, the whole thing of it is that, and this is not even about whoever is in place, but I do believe, and I think I said it at the start of the new year when I made mention of what my goal was, my personal goal, and what my goal was for the nation is that I want to see more persons pushing themselves, right? We can't wait on an administration to do it for us. We have to find ways, whether they put policies in place or whatever the case might be, but we have to be able to make that push within our own selves to get to the level, get to the place that we want. And we can't look at situations as somebody has to help me out, or the government has to give me this, or have to give me that. It can't fall back on government, right? It's not, they're supposed to do things to make our lives easier, but it can't fall back on them. And I think that is what, to me, is lacking a lot from many persons.
I think what the most you can really expect from the government is to just create an environment that allows me to progress. Don't stand in my way. I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. But there are others who just think they have this dependency and think it should all come from them. And when you look at other governments around the world, you don't see that. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's like a St. Vincent thing, as I don't live in other Caribbean countries, but it seems like it's a issue that's happening here more than anywhere else. Could be wrong.
Yeah. All right, Joshua, final call.
Yes, Rajiv, you are a philosopher, sir.
Uh-huh.
I like quotes. I guess it's the old teacher in me. You know, there's a saying: give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. Teach him to fish, and he would eat for life. Unfortunately, the former governments have created handout community. So we look into government for everything. As Roleza said, you know, empower yourself, and we should empower each other. What I hear when I come to St. Vincent is, gimme, gimme, gimme. What you bring for me? What you bring for me? And I love to play with people who talk like that. I would say the very same thing that you gave me last year when I came. I remember I took a young lady out. Yes, lady, because I love women. I took a young lady out to lunch. She has 3 children, and when I told her where I was going, she said, "I'm sorry, but I can't go there." I asked why. She said, "I cannot go there because what happens when you leave tomorrow, I'll never be able to afford to go back to that place." And I had to think. So I complied with her wishes, and I didn't take her to that place. And that's the type of attitude I like, you know. Empower each other, lift people up. Do not look for a handout. Give a hand up.
But Joshua,
that's why I refer to Rajiv as a philosopher.
But Joshua, do you think?
Let us teach.
Do
let us empower people. Don't. Just don't give handouts. I do not give handouts at all. I give a hand up any day.
But do you really think that dependency on
Joshua,
gimme,
hold
gimme,
on, Josh.
Do you think that dependency or gimme, gimme, as you said, is really the fault of the former administration? Or would they be liable for that?
All governments do that.
All?
Unfortunately. All governments in St. Vincent, that is the ones that I know of, they always want to give somebody. You go to the Prime Minister's office. I went there once to see Mr. Crick, and there were at least 24 persons sitting there waiting to see the Prime Minister. For what? For a handout. And that's no good. Teach a man to fish. Teach somebody to bake. And you will eat for life.
All righty. Thanks, Joshua. All right. So, any final thoughts?
I think everything was pretty.
All right. So, somebody here, let me say something on this comment. All right. So, somebody says we need to teach ourselves how to economize, and that as well too.
Yeah.
Right. So, can't be keeping up with the Joneses when you don't have the Joneses' money.
I like the thought of reviving the middle class, but I'm just waiting to see how it's going to be addressed.
Yeah, it's interesting because I didn't see any points. But as I said last week, maybe let's see what the budget presents. What is there within the budget? But it's interesting.
Because
right?
I've heard that they intend to do a lot more for small and medium businesses and to help those thrive. And if those succeed, then I can see something of that sort happening.
Okay. How
are they going to support them? Create that environment for them? That's what I'm waiting to see.
All right. So am I, folks. So am I. All right. So we are going to head on out of this segment. Remember that at 9:20, we will bring to you today's Talk to Us. And that would be an open forum for you to raise whatever it is that you want to raise with us. All right. Timer and SVG, it is 9:10.
Nothing else sounds as good as
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.